Peace, love, and blessings, fam. Day 54 of Wisdom of the Ages. We are almost done. If you want to catch up, you've missed some, or you want to go back and review, then you can catch these on TikTok or on YouTube at Loyalty Life, spelled Lyfe Legacy, LLC. There are little tidbits of things that you'll pick up as to why I may pause a certain way or why I may say things a certain way if you go back and check them out. And it's really just me combining certain things that I've learned with a book that was written in, let me check, because I've read this book before. And okay, the copyright is from 1998. So think about how much time has passed. Think about how much technology has changed. Think about how much there is to add on and expound to what Mr. Dyer spoke of, or Dr. Dyer, my apologies. Because the one thing about life that is always going to be consistent is change. Never get too caught up in something being the same, whether it be a situation, a job, a person. Things that stay the same are stagnant. Change is continual. Even gods, yes, I said gods, even gods change over time. They transform, they grow, just as you should. The way you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you shouldn't be the same today. Now, there are certain foundational things that if you are the same in that context, then that is what your basis is. That is your truth, your true you, your true north, so to speak. I didn't want to say foundation again because I had already said it, but you get what I mean. If you've been the same and consistent in certain areas and you've just tweaked yourself and grown, then 'tis what it is. But I digress. Day number 54, Independence. The road not taken. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry, I could not travel both. And be one traveler, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for the passing there, had warned them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay, in leaves no step had trodden back. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to the way. I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled, and that has made all the sense. Robert Frost. The recipient of many Pulitzer Prizes, Robert Frost is renowned for his poetic landscapes in rural America of the human soul. When Frost writes of taking the road less traveled by, he speaks to something far more transcendent than merely picking the less busy byway at a fork in the road. The two roads diverging in the woods, in Frost's contemplation, I doubted if I should ever come back. Say in effect, I only have one chance here. I can't take one road, and when it doesn't work out, come back to try the second. He knows that he has a choice, and the criterion he uses to make his decision is his instinct, which prompts him to take the less traveled road. I read in this poem advice that applies in all areas of our lives. To me, Frost says, be wary of following the pack, and don't do anything simply because everyone else is doing it. Also, Do what you do in the manner that you perceive it, regardless of how everyone else is doing it or has done it. In the last stanza of this, perhaps the most enduring of Robert Frost's poems, this valuable life lesson about living our lives by choosing our own path is underscored with the poetic conclusion that a life lived in this manner makes all the difference. My wife and I are the parents of 8 wonderful children. Yes, that's why I rock with them. I'm not married yet, but got 8 children, so definitely understand. That's another story for another time that I've said in many other places. But if you want to know, just type it in the comments and maybe I'll drop another video about it. Our chief concern is to help them to develop their own sense of purpose in life, while doing all we can to keep them out of harm's way. Each day, we hear stories of young people who have become victims of such horrors as drunken driving accidents, drug overdoses, criminal activities, and sexually transmitted diseases that are often death sentences. In discussing those kinds of issues with our children and their friends, we often hear the words, "everybody does it." We hear terms like peer pressure and how it is only normal for young people to want to feel accepted by their peers. No one, we are frequently told, wants to look like a dork by not fitting in. And I always remind them of this poem, "The Road Not Taken." Given that you simply cannot decide which path to take, and they both look inviting, then go with the poet's advice and take the one less traveled by. It will make all the difference in your life. If everyone seems to think that it is cool to drink and use drugs, and you are undecided, take a different path. Choose the road that you and only you are going to traverse, and it will make all the difference. One reason peer pressure has such a powerful effect on young people is that we adults are victims of the same group think mentality. We often excuse youngsters because we have difficulty making a difference in our own lives. Producing this collection of essays based on the creative offerings of so many great souls over the course of recorded history has been an eye-opener for me. Before writing what I believe the poet or writer is saying to us today, I read all that I could find out about their lives and the choices they made in their own times. Virtually all of these people we revere took the road less traveled by, and that is why they were able to make a difference. Frost himself was expected to be a farmer, lawyer, and then a teacher. That's a wild combination. They wanted you to be a farmer, a lawyer, and then a teacher. He tried farming and left it. He entered law school to be the lawyer his grandfather wanted him to be, but departed almost immediately without notice. He left Harvard because of an illness, perhaps brought on by trying the road most traveled. Your body will let you know if something is not for you. We just don't pay attention oftentimes. If you are in a space that you receive calm and it's completely out of your context or everyday feeling within yourself, appreciate that and pay attention. If you're able to rest in places where you're normally anxietous and can't breathe without having to force it, and I mean like you're in a continual state of flight, be appreciative of that moment. Now, if you get around people and you get nervous, sick to your stomach, and you're not cohabitated, that's another context. Cohabitation means you have something attached to you that is preventing you from being able to express and enjoy certain levels of peace around other individuals. But those are usually darker entities that don't want the light being projected on you to be received. Let's get back to this though. If you want to know more, get at me. But poetry was in his heart. And when he went down a road that few traveled with him, it made all the difference. And today we have his poetry because of that choice. Because of similar choices, we have the music of Mozart, the paintings of Michelangelo, and the sculptures of the ancient Greeks. Frost's poems invites you to forget peer pressure and instead know that if you trust truly and want to make a difference in your life, you cannot do so by doing things the way everyone else does or even because everyone else is. It's kind of like your parents telling you if everybody go jump off a bridge, you're going to jump off the bridge. Drop a drop a thumbs up in the comments if you got that far, or drop a yes to let me know, who's following me this far along. Now, if you choose to lead your life just like everyone else, then what exactly is it that you have to offer? If two people are created exactly the same and do exactly the same at all times, then eventually one of them might not be needed, right? The road most traveled by is one that will allow you to fit in, to feel accepted, even to become enculturated. But it will never allow you to make a difference. As you read all these enduring contributions from great thinkers over the centuries, you are absorbing the wisdom of those who most frequently choose the road less traveled. Their writing endured because they continued in spite of the criticism of those who choose the more common path. In my own professional work, I've been willing to speak and write about topics and ideas that were criticized by those on the more frequented road. In the beginning, the road I took was filled with potholes and gravel. Yet, my work has always come from the place I trust most, my own heart. I'm telling y'all, look, I wore green today because I felt like the heart chakra needed to be worked on. I had not read this again. I read this so long ago. I want to say it was maybe about in 2014, 2015. Now, some of these things might have stuck in my subconscious, but for me to be able to readily go back consciously and pick out a certain choice, moment, or time to coincide with this, it's more divine than realized. That's why certain things have been said in these daily readings that somebody else, Miss Layla, Miss Iya, said I was doing a blog, and I didn't realize I was doing a blog because I didn't realize how things coincided. But again, it's divine alignment. I will read that again. Yet my own work has always come from the place I trust most, my own heart, and so I persisted. As the years passed, the road became paved and well lit. Now, many who once thought this was a preposterous path are walking with me. I often hear, I used to think those ideas were insane. But now I really like what you were saying then. I am happy to have experienced what Robert Frost was writing about. Frost wrote of the common man and the uncommon choices he can make when he follows his intuition rather than the pack. What a great lesson for you, for me, and particularly all of our children. I am one of those children now telling my children to take the road less traveled. I encourage you to know the pleasure of choosing your path. And telling this with a sigh somewhere ages and ages hence. Then, I hope there will be more children in the world who become adults who know that it's never crowded along the extra mile. To put this message into your life, begin today. 2-1. Let go of using the behavior or accomplishments of others as a means of validating your own life. Even if many others, even a majority, believe in one way, if you feel out of harmony with that groupthink, validate yourself by taking the road your heart wants to follow. Work hard at not using comparisons in your relationships. Expecting anyone else to conform to the standards of others does not encourage self-esteem or individuality. That's two. Yeah, I said individuality, but I don't think it came out like that. It came out like individuality. Number three, listen to your own heart concerning the path you wish to travel. Even if your entire life training has been in one direction, if it is not what you feel now, then begin the adventure of exploring a less traveled road. The reward of self-sufficiency will far outweigh the practice of conformity. And four, remind yourself, as Robert Frost does in his poem, that it is most unlikely that you will get a second chance to come back and travel a path that you really wanted to try, but didn't because it was less traveled. Now, I'm going to say this. You know, the only road that people go back down again that they normally don't do with anything else, relationships. People have run back and forth to relationships in the hope that it will change. And in some cases, it does, because both individuals have been working on themselves sincerely, whatever the case may be. But in most other areas of their life, people do not take the same choice. Even if your ancestors, spirit guides, higher self, the universe, if you will call it such, which I want you to think on, how grand it is that the entire universe of something that we could never fully understand, a grain of sand in the ultimate cosmos, you feel the universe has aligned this for you. It's a powerful statement. So if that be the case, why is it that relationships are the only path we choose to grow back down? Even if it's thorny glass, broken bottles, but many times we'll be presented a path in front of us that we know is something we looked at previously, but we decided yet again, no, I'm not going to do it that way. A lot of cases, if you were to take that step of faith down that path, less traveled, your life would be greatly different. Today is March 3rd, a 3-3, a 6. I'll let you look that up because I'm one that encourages people to do their own research. So if you've gone this far, please drop a 6 for me, or a 3-3. Now, 3-3-3 coincides with Archangel Gabriel, which is a messenger. So let me be the messenger for you today. Stop doubting yourself and take the path less traveled. If you want to do it, go for it. If you want to go back to school, by all means. If you want to start working out, by all means. If you want to start writing poetry, by all means. The path less traveled is your path. You know why? Because nobody else can walk your path for you. If your parents want you to do or be something and that's not what you want to be, then by all means, jump ship and go find yourself. But make sure it's in alignment with what you want and what your path is, and you're not following the crowd. Sheeple will get you jammed up. The masses will get you jammed up, or them asses, them donkeys will get you jammed up, because you're following a group or a collective of those who, in most cases, you already know the story. You just want to believe that you can rewrite it in a different format. The best way to rewrite it in a different format is to take a different path. Again, if everybody jumps off a bridge, are you going to do it with them? What can you change about jumping off the bridge unless you've learned levitation overnight, unless you carrying a parachute or something that dynamically shifts your circumstances? Unfortunately, you're going to be predetermined by statistics to do the same exact thing as others. So, I again thank you for being here. As always, more so for yourself than for me. I ask you today to readily think about how you maneuver in life. I ask you to readily think about the path that you're on now and if you're happy with it. And if you're not, you always have the choice to change it. And even if it's a situation or circumstance that you can't readily change at this moment, you can begin to plan to change it. It's all on you. Because at the end of the day, if you walk a path that you don't want to, one thing that's going to happen is you're going to regret your life. The second thing that's going to happen is everybody that was telling you to make a choice that they didn't for your life, and I don't mean they're telling you you should do it different. No, they're telling you to do what they should have done. They're going to come back and tell you, I'm sorry, I should have told you to do it your way. So, I implore you to do things your way today, from the most positive, loving space of light for yourself. I ask that you walk in light, walk in love, walk in peace, and know that you are loved.